Sup, anime fans? Summer 2025 has officially ended, and I have to say, this one slapped. We had horny resistance fighters, exhausted detectives, traumatized mages, and literal geology propaganda. So whether you've watched it all and just want to validate your good taste, or you're here to find what's worth binging since you can't bring yourself to wait weekly, I've got you. I watched 13 shows this season, and while none of them were actually bad, I did watch one pretty questionable one, but it has more merit than, say, a redo of Healer, which I know is a low bar. We're going from worst to best, so strap in with the friendship ribbon, and keep some cold water on hand for any rogue spirits. We're starting with a show that tested my sanity. Did somebody say rainbow-colored dumpster fire? Alright, I'm not exaggerating. Nukitashi is one of the wildest things I've ever seen in a non-hentai anime. The premise? Seirin Island, a small coastal town in Japan where the government passed a local law requiring people to be, perverted in some sick, twisted way, trying to save the population decline problem. Our protagonist, Junosuke, is a proud virgin who returns home with his lesbian sister to take down this ridiculous law. So naturally, they form a resistance group called the NLNS, No Love, No Sex. The members, a horny chubby girl, the biggest slut in school, a lolly senpai no one wants to talk about for legal reasons, and even the mayor's daughter. It's an ecchi political satire that forgot to be satire halfway through. The pacing is chaos. Every route from the visual novel crammed together like a clown car, but it's hysterical in how far it goes. There are multiple scenes where the MC begs for morphine after things like scraping his knee. That's the tone, constant overreaction and melodrama that somehow made me laugh harder than I wanted to. My verdict? It's not good, but it is unforgettable. Watch it drunk, high, or during an existential crisis. Final rating, 4 out of 10, Horny Dystopia, the comedy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Okay, tone shift. Mikadono Sisters. Looks like a basic harem, but it's secretly a wholesome slice of life in disguise. 3 sisters, Nico, Kazuki, and Miwa, are all prodigies. Nico's a karate master, Kazuki's a world-famous actress, and Miwa's a shogi prodigy who probably dreams in 4D chess. Their father's a maniacal perfectionist who raised them to constantly achieve greatness, so they're all mentally exhausted. Then along comes Yu, a normal dude with no skills beyond looking good and making dinner. He's an orphan taken in by their father who expects him to be a genius like his mom, a legendary actress. Instead, he's a total failure, academically, athletically, spiritually, but he's kind. The show's core is him trying to help the sisters rediscover joy and rest, not romance necessarily. Sure, there are hints of harem, but the focus is on friendship, family, and healing. The animation's solid, the sisters' designs are top tier, and the emotional beats actually land. It's basically Oregairu meets Spy Family if you replace the spies with Burnout. My verdict? Not the best comedy, but genuinely heartwarming. And my rating is a 6.5 out of 10. Wholesome harem healing. Man, who are you calling crazy? Now this is how you do a comedy. Detectives these days are crazy stars Keiichiro Nagumo. Once Japan's most famous detective, now a washed-up 30-something whose biggest mystery is how to pay rent. He's jaded, tired, and his back probably clicks like a glow stick. Enter Mashiro, an energetic girl who bursts into his office, begs to be his assistant, and proceeds to take down an entire Yakuza group while trying to exterminate bees. By accident. That's the tone of this show. It's absurdist detective comedy at its best. Think Gintama mixed with Like a Dragon. Every case starts normal and ends in total chaos. Haunted mansions, government conspiracies, cat theft rings. But here's the thing. Amid the slapstick humor, there's a surprisingly sweet dynamic between the old Burnout and his chaos incarnate apprentice. My verdict? It's stupid, loud, and a total joyride. And my rating is an 8 out of 10. Sherlock Holmes if Watson had super strength and no impulse control. Shh, it's a secret. If my 10-step plan for being a successful loner was an anime, it would be this. Monica Everett is a traumatized shut-in who somehow became one of the kingdom's 7 strongest mages. Her signature move? Casting magic without speaking. That's right, she's so powerful, she doesn't even need incantations. She's sent undercover to protect a prince at the Magic Academy and immediately has to face her worst enemy, social interaction. The show balances a fantasy story about assassination plots and political scheming with pure character comedy. Monica is adorable, awkward, and relatable to anyone who's ever wanted to disappear in public. Her relationship with Isabel, the fake bully who's actually her biggest fan, gives the show tons of heart and humor. Also, the action scenes go way harder than a show like this needs to. My verdict? A magical mix of charm, trauma, and top-tier memes. And my rating is a 7.5 out of 10. Tomie can't communicate, but she can nuke you. Why, Mrs. Claus, you don't look a day past 20. Can I just say, it's nice to see a character actually growing up in a show. It's such a rarity nowadays. Sakura's back, older, wiser, and slightly less traumatized, now navigating life as a college student. This season covers the miniskirt Santa arc, mixing existential drama with romance and mystery. The writing's sharp, the emotional moments hit hard, and the Santa imagery adds this bittersweet Christmas melancholy that works perfectly. My only issue, everyone kinda looks the same. The first few episodes felt like a game of who the hell is that? But once you reorient yourself, it's a fantastic continuation. The ending sets up the final film next year, and it's looking like one of the strongest conclusions in modern anime romance. My verdict? Melancholy magic at its best. My final rating is an 8 out of 10, Christmas cheer with emotional damage. Godzilla! Alright, this is going to be a bit of a short one. The monsters are back, and they're meaner than ever. Season 2 of Kaiju number 8 takes a step back from the constant action to explore character arcs and moral questions. Kafka's story is more internal this time, dealing with identity and acceptance, while his protege Reno steals the spotlight with some killer fights. The pacing's tight, the visuals are crisp, and the world building is as solid as ever. But the season ends on such a cruel cliffhanger, it should be illegal. If you're patient, it's worth the ride. If not, maybe wait till season 3 so you can binge in peace. My verdict? Great build-up, painful pause. And my rating is a 7 out of 10. Kaiju Therapy Part 2. Rudy in the sky with diamonds. Science, friendship, and rocks. Rudy Rocks is an educational slice of life from Binge Studios, the team behind Mushoku Tensei, about a girl who becomes obsessed with geology after falling in love with gemstones. Sounds boring, right? Wrong. It's shockingly emotional, showing the loneliness and perseverance behind scientific discovery. In fact, I've actually never seen a show that portrays the scientific method in such a beautiful way. You watch Rudy fail, get obsessed, burn out, and rediscover her passion, all while learning actual scientific facts that are weirdly engaging. Plus, her 2 senpai are comedic gold, and let's just say Bind knew exactly what they were doing with their character designs. My verdict? Cozy, nerdy, and way more inspiring than you expect. And my final rating is an 8 out of 10. They're not rocks, they're minerals. Better than Air Bud. We're slowing things down for pure comfort. With You and the Rain is a gentle slice of life about a woman and her pet that's not quite a dog but acts like one. It's healing, it's funny, and for once, the protagonist has a functional family and friend group. Like, parents who are alive, Siblings who aren't evil, supportive friends that have their own lives. It's unheard of. One episode was just a casual visit from her brother and his pregnant wife. It's so normal it threw me off. The humor is subtle. The animation is soft, and the tone is pure sit down with tea and vibe. This is the first one that I just have to point out the incredible bossa nova track Chuva by Suzuki Mamiko that plays during the wonderful opening. It not only fits the show like a glove, but is just genuinely a wonderful song too. My verdict, wholesome, cozy, and criminally underrated. And my rating, 8.5 out of 10. Rainy day serotonin. Day and night, the lonely stoner seems to free his mind at night. Ah, yes. The return of the coolest knight in anime. Season 2 expands the lore behind the vampires, dives into Nana's backstory, and gives us more beautiful, moody shots of Tokyo at midnight. The first season was all about vibes. This one is a lot more about consequences. Relationships deepen, conflicts heat up, and the action scenes are starting to rival the atmosphere now. I really enjoy the new antagonist. Anko can step on me any day of the week. She's proof that smoking cigarettes just makes you look cool. The soundtrack still slaps, pure synthwave melancholy, and an amazing new opening by the Legends Creepy Nuts. I've heard rumblings about where the story goes after this, and while I have my reservations, I'm going to hold back judgment until I see it for myself. My verdict? Stylish, moody, and emotionally satisfying. And my rating is an 8.5 out of 10. The nightlife still bites. It's not a hentai, I promise. They did it. 15 years later, they actually did it. Trigger finally pulled Panty and Stocking out of licensing hell and resurrected the legendary series, and it's somehow even better than the original. Every episode has 2 or 3 art style shifts. The jokes are faster, the writing is sharper, and they fixed the biggest complaint, giving Stocking just as much focus as Panty. The Monster of the Week formula is back, but now it all ties neatly into a real bombastic finale with heavenly lore, new villains, and jokes that manage to stay edgy without crossing lines. It's chaotic, gorgeous, and feels like a celebration of everything weird about anime and Western cartoons. We got another to be continued as well, with unique implications for whatever might come next. Man, it pays to be a Trigger fan sometimes. My verdict, a perfect resurrection of filth and brilliance. My rating, 9 out of 10, heavenly chaos, blessed by Trigger. See you in the summer, somewhere. If ADHD were a city, this would be it. City the Animation is the long-awaited adaptation of Keiichi Arawi's follow-up to Nichijou, a nonstop parade of absurdity, deadpan humor, and background chaos on a much grander scale that deserves an Oscar for timing. The premise? A city where everyone is weird and weirdly kind. No one has any malice or suspicion. It's a world where the comedy happens and everyone just accepts it as a fact of life. There's a small main focus on 3 college-age girls. Midori is your typical Renaissance woman who became too bored with success and now bums around doing odd jobs for money. Wako seems pretty normal on the surface, but she drifts through life as if she were a living cloud, though she turns out to be incredibly selfless. And last, but hopefully not least, we have Nikura, the most prototypical college woman. She has an obsession with social media, broccoli, and secretly, for the Yuri fans out there, Midori herself. Kyoto Animation is the only studio that could do Arawi's work justice. Fast cuts, weird facial distortions, and slapstick that borders on surrealism. Some episodes feel like fever dreams, others like philosophical stand-up. My verdict? It's not for everyone, but if you like absurd comedy that somehow feels too real, this is your comfort chaos. And my final rating is a 9 out of 10. Late-stage capitalism, but make it funny. Dun, 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 dun. I didn't think Sai and Saru could improve on the skills they displayed in the first season. I was wrong. Season 2 starts mid-arc, and luckily the first thing that happens is Momo getting saved from the rather clickbaity, unsavory cliffhanger from last season. We get introduced properly to Jin's character and the birthday suit-loving spirit that possesses him, as well as everyone's favorite weeb, Kenta. On top of the dynamic with Jin's spirit, whose idea of playing is destroying all of humanity, we deal with cults, giant earthworms, and even Godzilla this season. Since it was a pretty divisive topic, I'm gonna throw my 2 cents out there and say On the Way is a better opening for Dan Da Dan than Otanoke, Fuck You, Fight Me. It fits the more somber, slower overall vibe of the show, in my opinion. This show is what I point to as a complete example of what anime is. It literally has a little bit of everything and balances it with a core romance that just melts my heart. My final verdict, frenetic, beautiful, and pure anime energy, and my rating is a 9 out of 10. Ken Takakura Fan Club. I don't know what it is, but it's weird and pissed off. Before I get to my number 1 pick this season, I want to shout out one honorable mention for a show that I didn't end up watching, but I know is an absolute gem. I'm talking about The Summer Hikaru Died. It's a small town supernatural horror about a boy who realizes his best friend, Hikaru, isn't quite human anymore, and the unnerving BL love story that happens as a result. Slow pacing, horrific visuals, and Cloverworks level direction. It's part horror, part love story, part existential dread. The reason I didn't watch it is because I'm pretty picky with my horror. But don't let me stop you from experiencing what will most likely be one of the seminal horror anime of the past decade. This part of my life, this part right here, this is called Happyness. And finally, the one that broke me, built me back up, only to break me again. Trigger warning for real. Takopi's original sin follows a cute alien named Takopi from planet Happy, who lands on Earth hoping to spread happiness and accidentally causes the most depressing chain of events imaginable. It's a show about childhood trauma, bullying, abuse, and guilt, and how even good intentions can destroy lives. No show this year hit harder emotionally, and if you relate at all, it'll probably put you out of commission for a day or two. It's dark, gut-wrenching, and the kind of story you never forget. It's only 6 episodes and beautifully produced. I'm not going to explain the plot. Go and watch it, idiot. You have no excuse. My final verdict, devastating, profound, essential. And my final rating is a 10 out of 10. I need a hug and a support group. And that's the summer 2025 anime season. It was chaotic, heartfelt, hilarious, and occasionally illegal. Every studio brought their A game, and honestly, 2025 is shaping up to be one of the strongest years in anime. Agree? Disagree? Think Nukitashi deserves to be studied by psychologists? Drop your takes in the comments. Hit like if your watch list just doubled. Subscribe for more seasonal breakdowns, and I'll see you next season. Keep watching anime. Stay weeb.